crowds like this gathering everywhere. It's not too early to say that this is going to be one of the biggest days of protest in American history. I've been reliably informed by the Speaker of the House that this was going to be a Hate America rally filled with terrorists. What a disappointment you all are. I spent a lot of time on the battle green over the years. Growing up, I studied for a few weeks at Cary Library and then passed the fairly difficult test to become a guide here on the green. And so for several years in high school in the summer, I would wear that tricorn hat and tell the story of the people who gave their lives in what might well be called the first No Kings protest. The people who answered the midnight tolling of the bell in the belfry and repaired to this green in the cold and the dark to wait for the British to arrive, knowing that they faced the greatest military force in the world. In the fashion of our times, let me say those names: John Brown, Samuel Hadley, Caleb Harrington, Isaac Muzzy, Robert Monroe, Asahel Porter, Jonas Parker, and young Jonathan Harrington, who, at least as legend has it, was mortally wounded and crawled across the green towards his wife to die in her arms on the stoop of their house. They believed that they were able to govern themselves. Their king did not. He dispatched yet more troops to occupy our cities after the events of April 19th. But eventually, with much more sacrifice, their point was made, and democracy gained a foothold on this continent and on this earth. Two generations later, just down the road in Concord, Henry David Thoreau began his explorations of civil disobedience, the first experiment with the tool that the Minutemen did not possess. The development of this tool across the 20th century, from India to Selma, stands as one of the last century's great inventions. And it too has been used on this green. In May of 1971, the Vietnam Veterans Against the War, led by a young John Kerry, asked permission to bivouac on this green during a march from Concord to Boston. When permission was denied by the select board, they went ahead anyway, with the support of many Lexingtonians. I was here that night, and I remember it well. Small huddles of people illuminated by the blue and red lights on the top of police cars. Since I was 10, I eventually had to go home. My father stayed, and he was arrested with 457 others. It remains the largest mass arrest in Massachusetts history. And that was a small part of a successful movement that ended a war that had killed millions in the jungles of Southeast Asia, a nonviolent victory. Now we stand here at another remarkable turning point in American history. We have a president who, though duly elected, has decided to govern as a ruler. With the aid of a cowed Congress and a corrupted Supreme Court, he has ordered troops into peaceful cities, used masked secret police to arrest our neighbors on flimsy pretext, has upended the orderly work of Congress by canceling projects they had funded. He has favored cronies and their businesses to line his pockets. He has reduced our standing in the community of nations by imposing scattershot tariffs. And he has all but ended the scientific progress that has marked this nation since Benjamin Franklin. Our king, our new king, has decided that half his subjects are worthless. As his spokeswoman declared on Thursday, the opposition party in this country's main constituency are made up of Hamas terrorists, illegal aliens, and violent criminals. And as his lickspittle Speaker of the House said earlier this week, if you come to this rally, I'll bet you'll see Hamas supporters, I bet you'll see Antifa types, I'll bet you'll see the Marxists on full display, the people who don't want to stand and defend the foundational truths of this republic. Sadly, for Mike Johnson and Carolyn Leavitt and Donald Trump, what we actually have here today are people who believe far more deeply than they in the foundational truths. We believe that the president is not a monarch, but instead a person elected to protect the constitutional arrangements under which we live. We believe he has no more business dispatching troops to Portland or Chicago or Los Angeles than King George had dispatching troops to Lexington. We believe that the racism and xenophobia lurking in every pronouncement of this president goes against the work of Americans across 250 years to broaden our democracy past its stunted beginnings. And so we will fight, non-violently, but without cease. We will continue to gather in the streets and on the town commons. We will do what we can to protect the right to vote, and we will exercise that franchise as long as it is granted us, and we will seize it back if it is taken away. We will come to the aid of our great colleges and universities, some of them just at the far end of Mass Ave, as long as they stand up to the regime. We will favor those companies and institutions that defy this new monarch, and we will boycott those who don't. If our ancestors could do without tea, then we can do without a new Tesla. We might even be able to do without Amazon Prime. We will try to raise each other's courage and support the families of those who were sent to jail, and we will honor those who lead us in this work, and we will do it in the best humor we can muster. Inflatable frogs to the fore. We don't know exactly how this fight will come out. Donald Trump has seized vast powers, and clearly he has no hesitation in using them. His ego, badly bruised by having to sit in court to answer for his crimes, demands retribution. And now he is hunting down the enemies of his lawless rule. He and his rooster of a defense secretary are attempting to remake the military, descendants of the Minutemen, in their own pathetic image. So this could be a long battle. But then the colonials had no idea how their fight would wind up either. They could not have foreseen Bunker Hill and Breeds Hill, Saratoga and Valley Forge, Brandywine and Yorktown. They could not have imagined when they were here that morning the Articles of Confederation or the Constitution. They just knew some basic truths that we also know. For instance, that humans are able to govern ourselves. Yep. We don't need a ruler who declares only I can fix it. And they knew that with too much power comes corruption, which we're now seeing on a scale that America has never known before. And they knew, crucially, that those who would divide our people instead of unite them are not fit to take part in our government. The British came this way on April 19th in 1775 to seize arms at Concord, but they wouldn't have minded also capturing John Hancock and Sam Adams, who had been spending the night at the parsonage on the Green. And so perhaps we should let Sam Adams, absolutely resolute patriot, have the final words. The liberties of our country, the freedoms of our civil constitution, are worth defending at all hazards. It is our duty to defend them against all attacks. We have received them as a fair inheritance from our worthy ancestors. They purchased them for us with toil and danger and expense of treasure and blood. It will bring a mark of everlasting infamy on the present generation, enlightened as it is, if we should suffer them to be wrested from us by violence without a struggle, or to be cheated out of them by the artifices of designing men. So let us act with the courage of our forebears, peacefully but resolutely. We did not ask for this moment to come upon us, but we must rise to the occasion, and this hallowed ground is as good a place as any to make that pledge.